Leo Rising, this is your monthly tarot checkup for the month of July, whatever. July 2024. I'm not starting this over. I don't give a crap. My name is Podkane. If you haven't been here before and you don't know your rising sign, check the link in the description below. It'll give you all of your placements. You need to know your exact birth time, by the way. It'll also give your ascendant, which is your rising sign. So I'll go ahead and show you what decks we're going to be working with today. First, we have the messages from your spirit guides and animals oracle deck. So we'll get a card for you from there to start off with. Then we've got the dual decks, as above, so below, which will go through the inner and outer spreads. Outer being how you appear, work, relationship, home, whatever, the practical matters, right? And then we're going to go to the inner world, which is who you are and what you value, what needs to change, what you need to have the courage to do, secrets. Oh, it's the secrets though. And then finally, after all of that, we're going to get you a spell deck card. If you're interested in doing something a little witchy this month, we'll get a spell for you that applies to your situation that you might find useful. So having said that, I'm going to go ahead and draw your first set of cards from the So Below deck, and I will see you here in a second. Okay, Leo Rising, I've got the emu and the platypus as your animal wisdom cards. Emu says, this is a good time to go on a new adventure. As I was pulling this, like I felt like a lot of happy energy, like some positive energy. Like things are definitely like looking up in some ways. And with the platypus, stop complaining and focus your attention on the blessings in your life. Quit your bitching and look at what is actually a blessing in your life, because it's not all bad. Shut the hell up. All right, how others see you, how you appear as the Eight of Swords. I mean, other people see you as really being kind of tied down with the crap ton of responsibilities. You're kind of maybe stuck in your ways. There's a whole laundry list of things for you to do all the time. Eight of Swords is also typically an image of a woman with swords all around her, and she's blindfolded, and and she's also like tied up. And the concept around that is that she can free herself, but she doesn't. First of all, she doesn't know how to start doing it, because the way to free herself is a very complicated type of mess that has taken a very long time to get to the point to where it's at. And it's not like, oh, if I pay this one credit card off, everything's chilling. It's like, okay, I got this credit card over here. Then I have to deal with, not being able to buy a house over here. And then I got to repair my credit score. And then I got to get a better job because I'm still not making enough money here. Like, okay, so it's like a whole scenario of things that can be overcome, but it's done at a step at a time, and it will take a long time. So with people seeing you that way, it's like they kind of see that the challenges that you face in life are, first of all, of your own making to some degree. Okay, whether that's true or not, but also that for you to get to a better place in life, it's going to take a while and it's going to take some work. With what you have right now, you have the world reversed. Not quite feeling like you're ready to go out and celebrate your life. This is, again, kind of like that negative thinking. It's like you're almost at a finish line of some kind in your life, but you're just not willing or ready to recognize that you've come all this way, and you're just on the precipice of making a major completion of this cycle. And this card can also mean that you're not really going out into the world as much. Leo Rising likes to enjoy the fun things in life and have a bit of run and fun and have a run and to go on adventures and take a bit of risk and things like that. And this is not that. This is like, I'm just going to stay inside because I'm too tired, or I don't feel good about myself right now. I don't feel like I deserve it. I haven't earned it. I'm not there yet. So, what are you thinking about right now? It's the Eight of Wands reversed. This card reversed is a very slow moving energy. I think that you're not really thinking too much about anything. I would suggest that you haven't been considering what you think about, what your mental habits are. You're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. You're in a very habit based behavior, and you haven't spent much time recently considering, well, are my mental habits really all that good or positive? Is it actually doing anything good for me? Maybe I should change my perspective about that. Is it the way that I think is causing this situation to happen in my life that I would rather change? There, there's not a lot of awareness to what you think about, and maybe it's because you're so busy and you have a lot of, responsibilities around you and stuff like that. I don't know. We could get more information as we go, but I'm saying that it's been a while since you've really stopped to consider your mental habits. And perhaps it's time for consideration of that, because stop complaining and focus your attention on the blessings in life. Like, if you've gotten into this habit of pointing out all the things that are wrong, you're not in that same place anymore where you started doing that because maybe it was necessary for some reason, or maybe it was a coping mechanism, something like that. Okay. You're in a place where you have blessings. It's a good time to do something fun and new and exciting and inspiring. But you're focused on how bad everything is. And you haven't reconsidered that maybe that's a you problem and your life isn't actually all that bad. What's going on at home? You've got the Page of Cups. So maybe there's a child in your home that your focus is really on right now. Maybe a pet. Or there's some focus on your your emotional development, like emotional maturity or lack thereof. Okay. So this is the card of like the temper tantrum and the emotional, like here, there, everywhere, and moodiness and big feelings without anything to show for it, or any reason why we're having a mental breakdown right now. In your home, there could be a lot of emotional energy, and moodiness and like just feelings all over the freaking place. With your self-expression, we have the Six of Cups reversed. You're sending out signals that your love is conditional. And that's part of how you're expressing yourself, whether you believe that it's true or not, whether you feel like you deserve unconditional love or not. The way you're expressing yourself is telling others that if you don't do what I say, if you don't act the way I expect you to behave, I'm going to withhold my love from you. And you're using withholding your love as a weapon. And, why you're doing this, I can't say, but it's showing up here. And I think that there may be like this negative mindset, this I'm not good enough mindset, this feeling trapped mindset of like, I need something solid and stable in my life, and I've decided it's going to be you. And here's the reason. Here's the thing that I'm going to do about that. I'm going to use my love as a weapon, or the lack thereof, the withdrawing of that love as a weapon. And I obviously would say choose another one. But I think it's important that you realize you're doing this. The self-awareness needs to get on and popping. Work. What's going on with work? Queen of Cups. You've got emotional supporters at work. You can see in this card, she's crying. She's gotten some bad news or something like that. And she has an emotional supporter here who's like helping her get through it. You have people around you at work or at school, whatever like you do outside of the home, that there are people who want to support you. They're willing to listen to your troubles. They're very compassionate. They don't care if you say or do something that they think is like, ooh, they're still going to love you. It's a wonderful example. Take them for example on how to properly give and receive love, but also like know that love is not conditional for yourself. You don't always have to be perfect. You don't have to have all this workload. You don't have to beat yourself up. You don't have to, not consider your own thoughts and feelings and realize that maybe you are in the wrong, or maybe there's something you could change about the way you think. You're still worthy of love. I do think that a lot of people, one big reason why people don't want to or are afraid to reconsider their beliefs and their thoughts is that they strongly self-identify with them. And so if something was to be reconsidered and thought about differently, then that individual might say, that means I was wrong this whole time. And being wrong is like a stab to the heart. It's a big wounding, because being right, there's a source of self-confidence and self-love that's misplaced there. Just an idea. Other people in the situation, this is your relationship, this is someone, the closest person to you, whether that's a spouse, the person that you live with, the person that you're in a relationship with, best friend, or whoever is closest to you, you're in the closest relationship with now. We have the Knight of Cups reversed. They're done with your bullshit. They're not laying out the red carpet for you anymore. They're not mincing their words. They're being very straight up and honest with you. And they're not getting all pretty for you or looking all handsome to try to impress you or sweep you off your feet or be romantic. No, they're like sitting on the couch farting while they tell you that you fucked up for that and you're done for that. Like they're really the white gloves have come off with your person, and they're not interested in protecting your feelings. Maybe it's because you've weaponized your love. Maybe. Could that be the case? Maybe they're just an asshole. And then that's why you weaponized your love, is because of this. Like, only but be honest with yourself. Be brave enough to be honest with yourself. You have value regardless of what the truth is here. And you need to know that. What are other people doing that's kind of affecting your values? We have the Knight of Wands reversed with the Nine of Pentacles. Knight of Wands is typically a very go-getter, self-actualized, independent, like kind of sexual card. They're very passionate. They go after what they want. They take risks. They put themselves out there strongly, and they can have a big ego. With it reversed, you're seeing other people that have like maybe no sex appeal. First of all, they haven't put themselves out there. Maybe they're very quiet or shy. They're not loud and brash or overly confident. They haven't had a lot of enthusiasm in chasing after what they want, and yet they're in a state of Nine of Pentacles, which is independence, self-satisfaction, comfort, luxury, having worked for the things that they built around them that satisfy them, that give them self-love and self-respect, and they did it all of those things that they built around them are exactly what they desired, what they wanted, without the influence of others. And so you're over here looking at that dichotomy. Well, you didn't have to force your way through life to get this level of independence and luxury and comfort that is so desirable, that I respect. You didn't have to look super sexy. You didn't have to put yourself out there in a huge way, or, get some bass in your voice to demand what you wanted or anything like that. So how did you get all of this? And then you're looking over here saying, I'm not good enough. Are you thinking that it's in order to get this independence and self-satisfaction, you shouldn't be a sexual person? You shouldn't be putting yourself out there. You shouldn't be, having your voice heard or be very boisterous or be very risk taking. Maybe you're seeing that the reason why people have that Nine of Pentacles experience where they're very self-loving and self-satisfied is because they were more passive or modest or quiet, went more unseen. That's interesting. What are you learning through the situation? You have a weakness, strength reversed, to being needed by others, Six of Pentacles. You have a serious weakness for that. And I think that you haven't really considered how a lot of the driving force behind your behavior and your thought process is about being needed, wanting to be needed. That if you feel in a situation that you're not needed anymore, maybe your kid's growing up, moving out of the house, maybe, there's a new person at your job that's like taking over some of your responsibilities and you're like, I thought I was the only one that could do that. And now you don't feel like you're as clutch, like you're that person anymore. Maybe in your relationship, someone's kind of going off and being more independent and you feel like, oh, I thought you needed me to, help you take out the trash, and now you're doing it for yourself, or I thought you needed me to console you and reassure you all the time, but now you don't really need that. Like you're pretty good with yourself. When I say that there's a weakness here, it means that your self-value is coming from this place of being needed. And that is limiting your ability to have the things that you want, to feel good about yourself, because it's dependent on what other people want or need. Self-value is a personal A conversation, B, C, D, E, F, get the hell out of here. Self-value is self. Simple. It's a personal, very personal thing. And sometimes it's hard to see that when we're caught up in how others value us because they need us, because we provide value to them. I'm not like outright dismissing that being helpful or needed by people doesn't feel good. I just think you've gotten dependent on it. Your self-worth has gotten dependent on it, that's for sure. What have you built so far? Five of Wands reversed. Five of Pentacles reversed. And King of Cups reversed. Non-competition, being an insider, emotional withholding. Because you didn't desire to have a healthy competition with others. You want to shut people down and not let them into your space. Now you have no one to freely share your emotions with. Fewer people than you would like, perhaps. And this has also led to a feeling of jealousy, insecurity, self-doubt. Because you couldn't handle the competition of who was the insider, who got the special treatment, or who was accepted into the clique, who makes it to the top. Of course, there's going to be differing opinions than yours in this world, and I feel like you know that. But when someone has a different opinion than yours, it's like, all right, you're out. But that leads to a lonely situation. Because people with different opinions than yours still have plenty to offer. In fact, even more than those who have the same opinions as you do. You don't need a bunch of yes men around you. You need people who will challenge your thought process, who will get you to think about your thought process. You need that challenge in your life. And right now, all you have is hangers on, ass kissers, and this person over here who's done with your shit, but at least they're telling you like it is, and you're considering kicking them out of your life, maybe? You need that difference in opinion around you because you are very strong willed. You need someone to challenge you. And you've, I think, unconsciously ejected a lot of these people out of your life because you're just like, no, I'm right, you're wrong, get the hell out. You're not going to be in my inner circle if you say something I don't like. It could be entirely unconscious, like. But the end result of that is if you feel isolated, emotionally isolated, you don't have anyone you can trust. Because everyone that you've allowed to stay around you is a freaking yes man. They're just going to go along with whatever you say because that's maybe who they are, and that's fine too. But like, the reason why you've allowed them to stay around is because they went along with everything you said, and now you feel like you can't trust them because they're not authentic. Authenticity is going to ruffle feathers from time to time. You've got to be strong enough to let people in who ruffle your freaking feathers. Because they're going to build you up in so many positive ways too. It's like, I guess, like sports ball, okay? Let me use this analogy. Challenge makes the competitors great. Without challenge, one does not grow in their ability, in their in their ability, whatever. Damn it. I hope you understand what the hell I mean. You know, you're a competitor. You know, you're a Knight of Wands. And you have no one to compete against right now because you kicked all the competitors out and you're just alone in the stadium with no one to battle against, to no one to hone your skills against, and no one to learn from. And no equals either. No one that can stand toe to toe with you and, you know, have an argument, have a disagreement, have a difference of opinion, and like debate anything so that new understandings can be reached by assimilating what's good, leaving what's bad, whether it was from your own belief systems or theirs, in either direction. So it's just stagnation, withering away. That's just not good for you. That's the main point. Friends. Okay. Is there people around you, what they kind of think of you? I mean, I think people kind of see you as being rigid, my way or the highway type of thinking. They don't see you as having done the introspective work to really know yourself very well. I think I want to say that like they know that you're capable of unconditional love, but the fact that you've been weaponizing it, they know you haven't done the inner work, because if you realized you were doing it, you wouldn't. I don't think you know that you're doing this. And the people around you know that you don't realize it. And maybe they don't feel like they can break through to you, because that would be a difference of opinion, which you would reject because you're not comfortable with that, because it challenges your worldview and it preys on this weakness that you already have of feeling like you're not enough. What are your limitation right now? The star. I mean, this is like pure enjoyment in this card. It's like a mother that's like watching her kids and her dog play in the pool on a summer's day. It's like the most simplest thing in the world. And it's just pure happiness. It's hopefulness. It's aspiring to the future. It's looking forward for more exciting and new discoveries and adventures. And this is just like star reverse is like, what's the next emergency? What's the next problem? How can I get ahead of the next fucking crisis that's bound and determined to happen in my life? And that's why these two cards are here. Because you have so many joyful things that you could be appreciating and so many more that are waiting for you. But you're always looking around the corner for the next crisis. Okay, Leo rising. If you're still with me, if I haven't hurt your feelings too bad, I know you're strong. You're still here, right? I'm going to pause this and pull the next round of cards for you. I'll be right back. Okay, Leo rising. Getting into your first cards here for who you actually are, not just how others see you. We have the Two of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. You just can't make a decision right now on what you actually value. What do you actually care about? You don't really know. You've kind of worked your way into this situation that's kind of stagnant, and you don't even know what it's all for. And you can't see clearly what's really important to you at this time. And then down to what you value. Like this is what's really going on here, whether you see it or not. Steady, reliable, persistent, stably, like stuck in stone, damn near. Page of Pentacles with the Six of Swords, which is running away from terrible situations, getting yourself out of a jam, overcoming difficulties. It's like you see your life as, and your value as how stable and solid you're able to remain while dealing with problem after problem after problem. And so your value is wrapped up in having problems because you feel like you don't have value, that life doesn't have value if you're not able to show your strength and solidness in dealing with them. That's very complex, but hopefully that means something more to you than it does to me. What needs to change? It's the Nine of Swords. And this is just like the negative self-talk. This is like, and there's other things to suggest this too, that this is like really a huge basis of all of this, is that you are, and it goes back to this of how, you're willing to weaponize love as like conditional love. Like if you don't do what I need, then I'm not going to show love or compassion towards you. You do that with yourself. I think that a lot of the things that you do with others is just a fraction of how you treat yourself. And that's what you expect. That's what is normalized to you. And that's got to change because, we all are freaking human. We make mistakes. That's how we learn. We get competitive. That's how we grow. And we change through all of that. And every time you make a mistake, you withhold love from yourself. You're not good enough. You fucked up again. You're a piece of shit. And so this negative self-talk perpetuates because of course you're making mistakes. But even worse, because you're behaving in this negative self-talk, not reconsidering what your values are, you're putting that onto other people, which is just reinforcing the notion that you're not good enough, that people don't like you, that they're having emotional blowouts every time that you say something. Like, it's a feedback loop. But it did start to some degree with you not giving yourself the unconditional love that you absolutely deserve. When you make a mistake, you say, it's okay. I learned from this and I'll do it better next time. That when, you don't look as good on a day that you wish that you could, you say, you know, I'm still good enough. I'm still fine. Like whatever it is. You don't, you need to start making a habit of building yourself up in affirming ways, focusing your attention on good qualities that you respect in others, respect them in yourself. That's a good place to start. Because when you do this, the way you interact with others will naturally change as well. What's driving you? You've got the Emperor reversed with the Eight of Swords. It's this attachment to being in control and authority, a leader, and in a negative way too, is what it's become. And part of this may be because you feel like you know best, that you have all the answers. I kind of see that up here. But whatever caused it, you need to know that this has been cemented over a long period of time. And this has had a repercussion in your life on a lot of levels. And the way that you get out of this train of thought is to start bringing in people who disagree with you and just consider their opinions. Because there's a defensiveness here. I'm kind of jumping around, but it all ties together. Trauma from the past has attached you in a very toxic way to a strong defensiveness. That if I don't defend myself, I will be defeated. I will be taken down and I will be thrown in the dumpster. And that is stemming from trauma. Okay? Which means that when someone shows up with a different opinion than you, you run to defensiveness as a natural reflex. When what I'm suggesting that can change this whole situation around is before getting defensive, before making it about yourself, even if it's directly like, this is about you. You say, let me consider what they're saying. Let me be strong enough and brave enough to think about if what they're saying is true. And you may find out at the end of that there's something to what they're saying. You may find out that they're completely wrong. But if you're willing to consider it first before getting defensive, you were on your way to breaking down all of this inertia of negative self-talk, of needing control, of being withholding to others because you want to control them. And that's the last way, that's the last ditch effort you have. And I almost feel like this is like the Hail Mary. Withholding love is like the Hail Mary of trying to get someone in line. Like you've tried everything else and this is your last opportunity to have someone that you know loves you do what you need. And the question is, why do you need them to do what you need? They already love you. That's all that you need. You know, this is complicated issues. And they'll be different depending on who you are, you know, who's watching this. But I hope that at least that understanding of the defensiveness coming from a place that's very relatable, very understandable, still cannot be. It cannot be. You have to let this go because you have a toxic relationship with it. It's like a drug. And that's why you can't consider the opinions of other people. That's why you can't let them in because the defensiveness is far too strong. So it doesn't get out of the way so that you can consider what they're saying and reassess your thought process, reassess your belief system, reassess what you thought you knew about yourself or about others, about the world. And you can't learn anything new. All you can do, the only people that will be around you is people that are yes men, and even they fail at that sometimes, which means that now you have to withhold your love so that you can use your last ditch Hail Mary effort to get them to agree with you, to shut up, or to go along with what you need them to do because of your your trauma needs. That's not fair to anybody. Of course, it's not fair to them. It's not fair to you either. Because the trauma needs are freaking running your life. That defensiveness is running your life. What do you need to have the courage to do? You've got to be willing to change. And I asked for clarification on this with why is there a resistance to changing behavior? And it's the 7 of Cups of like clear-sightedness and making a decision and making a choice. And the clear-sightedness here is looking at everything, good and bad, and deciding who you want to be to yourself and to others. But you have to assess everything first before you can make that decision. There's parts of yourself that you're not willing to look at because you're ashamed of it. And you got to be strong enough to do that. We all have that, by the way. We all do things that we're ashamed of. We all have behaviors we're not happy about. We're not, pleased with, that we would like to change. Maybe we don't know how to yet. Maybe we're not willing. Whatever the case, you've got to look at it. What are the details that you're avoiding? This goes back to what I was saying a second ago. Because of all the negative self-talk, you speak negatively towards others. You can be very harsh. And that creates a continual cycle. It's like you've built everything that you're living in now has been built on a shaky foundation because it all came from a place where you were hateful towards yourself. Or you told yourself you weren't good enough, that you needed to do better. And what is needed now is to build a proper foundation based on self-love and self-acceptance and patience with yourself. Because then that leads to acceptance of whatever is going on and whoever is around you. It leads to appreciation of all the good that's in your life, both in people and in the things that you've worked for, and just in the nature of being a human. And from that foundation, you will build something completely different. Things keep falling apart, or not being able, or they're not able to be built up in the way that you would like, because your communication with yourself and with others, this negative self-talk, it's the source of it. And if you thought that you could keep on being nasty to yourself and build the life that you dream of, you're crazy for that. But I still love you. And I know you can do this. I think Leos, whether it's your rising sign, especially if it's your rising sign, actually, honestly, the rising sign is felt for everyone like as the graduation, the master's class of that energy, of that sign. So like for me, I have Scorpio rising, I'm a Pisces sun. I'm still learning and dealing with some Pisces issues, but I haven't really had the worst of it. But I've definitely had the worst of the Scorpio stuff. And it was on me to master that, because I also was more knowledgeable in it than I am with the Pisces stuff. And so when I say for you as a Leo rising, a typical Leo may have lots of love in their life and be generally, how people say Leos are full of themselves and all of that, right? Like, why are you not feeling that way right now? Well, you're on the master's class of the Leo energy, which is having courage to be honest, to be authentic, to create something new, to stand on your own, and to love yourself in the most radical way possible. That's the ultimate master's class of Leo, and you are going through that right now, which means you have what it takes. You have the courage to do this. I just think, I think a large part of this is it just escaped your awareness. And because it's been going on for so long, that's where I kind of come to that conclusion. I think it kind of worked in some ways. And it was so slow. Leo is a fixed sign. It was so slow in development. It was like the frog in the boiling pot of water, that you didn't realize what this was all actually creating. And now you're here and you're just like, what is this? Like, I need support. I need love in my life. I need love in my life, but I don't know how to access it. Because I don't even know why I don't have it. I don't know why I'm locked out from this, because this has happened over such a long period of time. But that doesn't mean that it can't be dismantled and overcome. And I know you've got the courage to do it. Take an honest look at yourself. Look at the behaviors that you do behave in. Look for exterior and non-biased resources like therapy and psychological self-help books, YouTube, whatever. Look around. Consider. Don't get defensive. Don't start an argument with yourself or with whatever your resource, your therapist or the YouTube channel that can't even hear you or whatever, right? Don't start the argument just yet. Consider it. Is this me? Is this something that I participate in? Is this something that I'm doing? And through that process, you'll start to really start getting some answers. I just think you just want answers at this point. And if the answer is to love yourself, it's going to take some practice, but you'll be able to do it. I really do. Because the point of this, or the point where all this started to turn bad, is because you knew you deserved love and you didn't get it. That's how I know you'll be able to do this. Because you want it. You want it. All right, your partner, your person, whoever's closest to you in your life, they are a mirror for you. Exuberant, passionate, Knight of Wands, willing to go for what they want. They look hot. They look sexy. They're willing to show their sexual side and be very free with that. They go after energy plus with whatever they want to do. And what they desire is to build a freaking legacy. They want to put in the work. They want to build up to something that lasts. They want to have a lasting, permanent, structure that feeds the elderly, that feeds children, that feeds everyone in the situation, a give and take, even traditional in some respects, but solid, lasting foundation that has been built up from the ground up and is built on the principles that the Knight of Wands inhabits, which is loving, passionate, and energized. And that's who you are. And that's what you want. And so your person that's in your life is an absolute gift and a blessing. They are showing you who you really are. So they're a mirror. So look into it. What's the secrets that you're missing? People around you that have emotional blow-ups, that have temper tantrums, even yourself when you experience these things where you're all over the place and you're very moody and it feels like the emotions are way off the charts, especially also when you receive negative emotional messaging. When someone says to you, I don't like being around you in any way that they might say that, or I'm unhappy with the way you behave, or they just ghost you because they don't like you, or they just do this because they don't enjoy you, or whatever it is, okay? When you receive negative emotional reactions or messaging, it is because you quickly, Eight of Wands, jump to a conclusion, Queen of Swords. You felt that you were right, and maybe perhaps sometimes you are. That actually is besides the point, and I need you to understand that. When you think that you're right, you quickly voice it. And because of that, people don't have a space to feel heard. People don't have a space to have their thoughts considered. Right and wrong doesn't matter in most cases, and especially when it pertains to these emotional blowouts from people and negative emotional messaging headed towards you. People just want to be heard. And this is a part that you had to play for why people act this way around you. This lady does not ask questions. She tells how it is. This is how it is. Maybe for you, maybe you're objectively right. Look it up. I don't know. There's far less objective right and wrongs in this world than there are opinions and experiences. And I know that your experiences in these situations probably feel very certain, but they're not objective. And you can't learn anymore if you don't hold these people's feelings and thoughts in consideration before you immediately go on the warpath of you're wrong, this is how you do it, you need to listen to me, I know best. Of course, people are going to react negatively to that. You're completely dismissing how they know best, how they've experienced something that has value, how they know something you don't know. But you're over here immediately jumping to the conclusion that you know it all. That's the thing that's really escaped your maybe something that you were really wanting the answer to, but maybe you're a little like, I didn't want to hear that. But that's the truth. At least that's what the cards are saying. What are you aspiring towards? 2 of Cups. You want a loving, reciprocal relationship with someone who has different skills, abilities, strengths, and weaknesses than you do so that you are better together than apart. You make each other whole in a wholesome way, not a codependent way. We could both do it on our own, but think of the things we could do when we work together. And you want that emotional fulfillment, the joy of having your person, someone that you can rely upon in your weaknesses, someone that can rely upon you in theirs. The give and take is all important, and that's all you want. And you can have this when you open yourself up to considering the viewpoints of others, when you love yourself unconditionally, despite being wrong sometimes, despite fucking up. You're still worthy of love from yourself and from others at all times. Even if you look at this whole reading today and you fully accept what I'm saying and you say, oh my God, I can't believe I've been treating people this way. I can't believe I've been treating myself this way. I've fucked up. What happened to the last 10 years of my life? You still love yourself. You did the best that you could with the knowledge that you had. And like I said before, I feel a lot of this stuff escaped your attention because it took so long to develop. We all have our blind spots. You're no different, and that's totally fine and totally human and so natural. So why hate yourself for it? Why spend a second regretting it? Because on the other side of this, you're going to have the knowledge of how this can happen to a person, and you will encounter your old self and others. And you'll be able to help them in a way that saves them all this trouble. And you'll have the compassion for others when they have a negative word to speak to you or someone you love. You'll know where that's coming from. This is a way for you to become wise, a very powerful way. And it will all have been worth it. What's the outcome? 9 of Cups, the Wish card. King of Swords. 6 of Pentacles, and Eight of Pentacles reverse. You will absolutely get your wish come true. The thing that you've been desiring to be needed. You'll have that, but it'll be in a completely new way that you have never experienced before, because you will be needed for your wisdom and your fairness, your willingness to listen, consider all sides. This is King of Swords. This is very different from the Queen of Swords in this aspect. It's more scientific. It's more balanced. It's more fair. Willing to make a decision and stand their ground when they feel that they have enough information to make that decision. But the information is willingly and gladly gathered from all parties without bringing the self into it as something that needs to be defended against or punished for being wrong. And with the Nine of Cups behind this, it will be so emotionally fulfilling to be valued for your wisdom. That's the true value. Not, I know best, so I'm going to tell you what to do all the time. Therefore, you need me because you can't make any of your own decisions. That's the, God, I'm thinking of some really weird analogies right now. It's like the disfigured and malformed version of what you really wanted, which is people to value for your wisdom and insight. Not for you telling them what to think and what to do because you know best. You want other people who are strong in themselves, who just would like your advice because you've been through all this. You're going to come out of this very wise and have a lot to offer in that respect, and it will be so good. How are you inspiring other people? Getting serious, full reversed. With the, what is this? Page of Pentacles. What are your values? What are you learning? What true values are. That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought that for this position. Taking your values seriously enough to consider what are they actually and are they worth being valued. It kind of makes me think of when you're a child and you have your childhood dreams. Like, I want to be an astronaut, but you don't know anything about what it'll take to get there or what it'll feel like when you do. And some dreams aren't worth having because you won't enjoy the journey there. And the end result won't be what you thought it was or dreamed it to be. Okay, sorry for the pause. So moving on to what needs releasing. We kind of already talked a little bit about this, but it's just that the trauma toxic relationship you have with being defensive. You've got to let your guard down in order to consider others' opinions. And that'll make all the difference for you. That's your answer right there. Okay. I accidentally paused this at the beginning of another reading and wasted so much freaking time. I had to redo half the reading. So I'm being very careful with it. But it ended up being coincidental as hell because they had been silencing themselves. So I silenced myself in their freaking reading. Bruh. Okay. So your spell card for this month, if you're interested in this, is Precious Stones. Take 7 tiny turquoise stones and put them on your windowsill during a full moon for 7 hours. Then pick up the stones and, while holding them in the palm of your hand, speak this wish spell out loud. Luck be quick, luck be kind, and by lucky 7, good luck will be mine. Blessed be. Carry these lucky stones with you in a bright blue bag and be on the lookout for blessings to shower down around you. So that up for you if you want to pause and reread it. If you're interested in that, I have the utmost faith in you. Forewarned is forearmed. You know, when you know better, you can do better. And when you don't know, how can you do better? You're already doing the best that you can. So be kind to yourself, please. You deserve it. And until next time, I am going to do a love reading here in a couple weeks. So check out your reading for your Venus sign, not your rising sign. So it could be different than Leo. That's going to be your Venus sign. But until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.